Guess what day it is? Hand loading day. It's cold. Gonna sit inside and bang out some 38 specials. 158 grain jacketed hollow point, clean shot powder, Fiocchi primers, and some old brass cases. Loading up some 38 special to shoot suppressed in the lever action. It's gonna be fun. So as I got going, things got easier. I found a couple hundred brand new Starline 38 special that I had already pre-primed. So I've got 200 cases sitting ready to charge. We're going to go with what's on the bottle for our load data. 38 special, actually using Starline brass, 158 grain jacketed hollow point, gonna be 4 grains of powder. So we'll get our powder throw set up, check some weights before we get going, and then we will charge a bunch of cases. So our powder dispenser is pretty easy. It is a volumetric dispenser. So inside this tube, this piece threads down in there, so it only holds a certain volume of powder. Every time you flip this up, it fills the tube. You flip it back down, it throws the charge. And then we've got our scale set up, 4 grains of powder, and we are sitting right there dead level. So we'll throw a couple of charges just to make sure we're consistent. And then another thing that's commonly overlooked with a new reloader setup, make sure you get some kind of loading blocks. So these will hold 50 cartridges, so I can load each one with powder, and as I go through the process I can sit them back in the blocks to keep them held straight up. So we'll go through some charging the cases, and then we'll go through the next step. I'll show you what we're doing. So you can see our volumetric powder charge is pretty simple. Put your cartridge underneath, flip it up, fills the tube. When you flip it down, it empties the powder. Pretty simple. Another thing with these loading blocks, we're going to get over the top of them, and we're going to look at every single one and make sure they all look like they are charged equally. Take a look. Mainly you can see if you missed one or if you double charged. So I'll double charge one just to show you what that looks like. So looking at these, I can see those are low down in the case. Then I move over to this one, I can see it's definitely charged way more full than the rest. So good thing with the loading blocks, lay all your cartridges out. I can definitely see this is my double charge. Alright, we've got our first 100 cartridges charged. We've looked over the top of them. They all look equal. Throughout the process, I would stop and check a couple here and there to make sure I was on the weight. Next step is going to be taking one of our bullets, and we're just going to place one of these in the mouth of each of these cartridges, and then we'll come back and start with the press. So this is our seating and crimping die. I've got this one set to just give a very light crimp and get the bullet seated. I like to use a Lee factory crimp die to actually give the consistent crimp I like. So we get all these bullets seated, and then I'll check back in with the next step. So we've got our cartridge in the press. You can see our bullet starting to get pressed in. As we lower the handle, bullet goes up. Inside there, it is seating the bullet down and also giving a light crimp. And come back down. What we're going to look for is make sure that we are seated right there into that cantilever, which this looks perfect. So this is done. We're going to do that 99 more times, and then we'll go through our Lee factory crimp die. Here's something to look out for when you're seating your bullets. Sometimes you get in a hurry and don't have it seated correctly, and you can bend a case mouth. So keep an eye out for that. You'll feel it when it happens. It's the reason we leave our powder charge set up the way it is. We're going to swap dies and put in our case mouth expander, fix this case, recharge it, and carry on. Alright, now that we've got all of our bullets seated into our cartridges, they're all charged equally. Let's see if I can get that to focus. What we're looking at is right at the top edge of the rim where our cantilever is. Our next step, we're going to use the Lee factory crimp die. Get that set to roll that top edge of the case mouth into the cantilever. Very similar to archery with knock fit. Having a consistent crimp is going to be very important to having consistent accuracy. Basically, that is what designates or makes sure the bullet leaves the case at the same pressure every time, which is what's going to give you very consistent velocity and accuracy. So I'll get one of these crimped and show you the difference. So we've got the crimped case on the right, uncrimped on the left, and you can see just the slight roll right into that cantilever. You can even feel it with your thumbnail if you feel it, but it's rolled right up in there. So that looks perfect to me. Now we have 199 more to go. And then we get the fun part, go out and shoot some. All right, we've got our 200 rounds made up. Last thing we did was fill out our load data card. Never know when I'll get to shooting all these, and I want to know what they are. So next video, you'll see me outside shooting some. Thanks for following along.